Hello and welcome to the Holiday Park People's second podcast. My name's Matt and this is Stacey.
And with Holiday Park People. Our podcast is intended to be a positive voice for the holiday park sector and follow our journey as consultants. I think we need to start by thanking everyone for the incredible feedback that we had following the launch of our first podcast.
Quite unreal, isn't it, really? I mean, you know, we'd hope people would listen to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but lots of people listened to it and the feedback we had was great. I mean, not one person was mean.
Yeah. Well, and I think when you launch something like this, you never
I'm
quite,
saving it up for the second.
you never quite know, what the response is going to be like. And yeah, it was just really, really lovely.
What's nice, yeah.
We had so many calls and so many messages and where people emailing asking to be
Yeah.
involved and
Also suggesting topics and things like that, which is just great. I mean, the consequence of that first one, we're not going to struggle for for content for the next few, at least. You know,
no,
it's brilliant.
it was just really, aren't people just nice?
Yeah.
Like,
Told you they would be.
people are just
Told you.
nice and so it was really lovely. And who knew there was so many cheese and Marmite lovers out there?
Oh wow! I mean, yeah, we even got gifts.
No, big up to Ben.
Yeah, one gift. Thanks, Ben.
But no, it was super lovely. So thank you so much. The support means the world to us, and as Matt says, loads of ideas, loads of people asking to be involved. So yeah, we really appreciate it, and we hope that you will continue to follow us.
But
on our
not enough
journey.
of you followed. Loads of you listened, but not enough of you followed.
Yeah.
I get what, when other podcasts say, please subscribe and all that. Now I get it. I'm like, we got very few subscribers, but lots of listeners. So
Well, maybe
this
we're-
time,
maybe
please
we're
make
not
sure
good
you
enough.
subscribe.
Yeah. So, gosh, we've got loads to talk about, haven't we?
We have. A lot's happened in the last few weeks, hasn't
It's
it?
only been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that the sun is blazing again? I think maybe it's like a podcast omen, because last time,
Explain.
last time I was moaning about the fact that Lancashire never get
Oh yeah, you did.
Lancashire never gets any sunshine, and we had a full week of sunshine,
Mm-hmm.
and then here we are again.
It's roasting.
It's absolutely
It's
amazing.
roasting. I love it. Love
Absolutely
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, every time we film a podcast, the sun comes out. So let's keep that up.
Let's keep that up. Yeah. Let's keep that up.
Right. So what's happened in the last 3 weeks? Where do we start?
Well, we'll start with us and our team. So
Yes, yeah.
3 new team members have joined since the last podcast that we did.
Yeah.
Jasmine joined us and brings with her a wealth of experience, and Emily and Ellie have both joined us. So huge welcome to them, and
Yeah.
boy, have they got off to a great start, right? I mean, they're just absolutely exceptional.
It's always a nervousness, isn't it? I think because the sector's so complex, isn't it? I think when you bring people in from outside the sector, we spoke about this last time, I think it's really lovely because they bring a wealth of experience, loads of different ideas, a different perspective. I think sometimes as well there's this sort of, and I say this in the kindest way possible, but like a bit of naivety, but with that brings a load of enthusiasm and challenging the norm a little bit. And
yeah, there's that
I like
that old
that.
myth though, isn't there? You do a year or do a couple of years in this sector and you end up staying for life, and I think that's fundamentally because, the first year or two is probably the hardest because it is
Yeah.
complex. There's lots of moving parts. It's, it's hard. It's tough work, especially in climates like we're in.
Yeah.
But, they're up for it, aren't they? They're right
They've
up for it.
just got stuck in, and they've just picked everything up really quickly, and they've just been doing some amazing work, and so many brilliant ideas, the stuff that we've got, we're properly working on summer now, and they've just got so much enthusiasm and brilliant girls. So we're super excited to have them on board. We've got a right girl gang now, haven't we?
They're a joy to work with.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. We've had an office plagued with sickness. Like, what is
Just-
going on in the world?
It's not just an office though. Whoever I was speaking to in whatever part of the country, there was some form of sickness bug travelling at a rapid rate
Feel
of
like
knots, wasn't it?
everyone that we've spoken to is just been unwell in the last few weeks, and we've just, we've been plagued with
Yeah.
sickness, haven't we? So we're over that now, so that's nice. We supported one of our partners with their first team conference.
Yeah, that was good fun, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
good fun.
really, really nice, and I love event planning.
I know you do, yeah. I
I
know.
think I would have maybe been an event planner in
You said that to me
a
before.
different walk of life. Like,
I think
I
my
really
first
love it.
experience of that was when we worked together at a previous operator, and I obviously come from a large operator where, largely most of this was taken care of by external teams, and obviously there's a few people internally that form part of a working party and everything else. And then I was like, well, who's organising it? And it was just Stacey. Yeah, but who else? Like, just Stacey. Like, I mean, there were others involved, but it was just madness when we did that conference. It was down to the finer details, and you love it, don't you? You love it.
Yeah, I really do. And
I don't mind standing on stage and doing that bit, but I couldn't do to the degree you do it. Plan something from the things with the name on that stand on the table right through to timings and everything else. I'd definitely drop a ball somewhere, and it'd be catastrophic, no doubt.
No, it was really, really good fun, and it was nice to sort of, plan it out with them and work with them on the content, and we helped them deliver the day, and
Yeah, it's great.
it was a really, really good day, and that kicks
Going
them,
bigger and better next year, aren't they?
yeah,
Good for them.
and kicks them off for the year ahead, which is just absolutely brilliant. Again,
No,
the
absolutely.
team are fantastic there. So, so that was really good fun, and we've helped one of our partners launch a new product,
Yeah.
which is super exciting to
And
work with.
what a great business, great people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been around a long time, haven't they? And as we've got to know them, I know you've known them for a long time, but as I've got to know them, they're just great people to work with.
Brilliant. It's-
Really good fun. Complete trust, and just really good guys. And because they're great people, you just want to do a great job for them, don't we? And I've really enjoyed this last sort of month or so that we've been getting going with them, and long may that continue. They're an absolute joy, and yeah, as I say, we just want to do a good job for them now,
yeah,
don't we?
yeah, no, it's been really good, and we'll supported another partner in launching a new park, which
Yeah.
is just, isn't it amazing? I think this is one of the things that maybe differs from being a park operator, because I think when you're part of a business and you're working on significant park developments and huge pitch developments, I think sometimes it's difficult to see the progress when you're in amongst it, isn't it?
Every day.
Yeah, and I think because we've had periodic visits to the park, I mean, the difference between when we were there last
Unreal.
month
Unreal.
to
I
the other
suppose
day.
one of the other big key differences is that when you're an operator and you see a development on your park, you've sort of got a captive audience in terms of your holidaymakers, your owners, and to some degree you really understand who your market is and everything else. And what we've had to do with this particular operator is identify the market, go after the market, and define who their customer
Yeah.
is. And it's been and again, just been a real joy to work with,
Yeah.
haven't they? And the
park
park
is
is just
looking
outstanding. I mean, I couldn't believe it, could we?
So
We turned up, and I think
amazing.
they were a bit like that because they see it every day. Like they were almost shocked at how shocked we were. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it was just absolutely
Yeah,
incredible. Like the
brilliant.
standard. I know we spoke about this a bit last time, but the standard of the
Oh yeah,
development
unreal.
it is stellar, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. I mean,
It's
big
such-
shout out to Scott for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just outstanding development,
It's
and
such a beautiful location.
they came across loads of challenges, but he overcome them all with the
Yeah. Oh,
just
it's
brilliant.
just lovely. So
Fantastic.
yeah, that's been it's been really, really nice and super exciting for them.
And I had a week off.
You first week off since August.
Yeah.
Spent some time with your little boy.
Yeah, that was good most of the time.
How was it? Did
Most
you
of the time.
enjoy it?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. We had we didn't really, plan too much. We just did lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was challenging at times, as it always will be with a 6-year-old who is not interested in anything other than being outside, getting up to stuff that often includes building something, whether
Yeah.
that's out of Lego or whether it's with lots of twigs or whatever. So he's got no interest in, football or anything like that. He is just wants to build stuff. But yeah, no, we had a great time. It was nice to sort of reconnect, if you will. It was good. It was good. We had good fun. And it was, what else? It was quite nice to be able to take it some time off
Yeah.
and know that, between we had the capacity in the team to cope with, and, obviously you were still here. So it was quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite nice.
Good. No, that's been really good. And past Easter.
Yeah.
Easter's gone.
In the rear view now.
Yeah, and it's been I think it's been a bit of a mixed bag for people, isn't it? Like we obviously talk to a lot of people in the sector, and it's been I think it's been an interesting Easter period for the sector generally, and there's always been this myth, hasn't there? Like good Easter, good year.
I've heard this myth for as long as I've been in the industry, and I don't even know if it's a myth or whatever, but when I reflect on sort of, if I go way back to when I was a sales manager, I don't think at Easter I was prepared to give up if I missed,
Yeah.
because that sort of suggests that if I'm not there for Easter, I'm probably not going to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know about, I'm sure most of the sales managers listening to this would think, if I miss Easter, I'll catch it up in Whitsun, or,
Yeah.
there's, and, for most part, I mean, there was years where, we were behind after peak, and yet we still managed to get there by the skin of our teeth, so I don't know. I'm sure some people say the same about May bank holidays, because it's not Easter anymore and it's just something to talk about. I don't know, but I don't believe in it. I think
No.
if you've got the right strategy, if you press reset at the right time,
Yeah.
if you get the other side of Easter and you continue doing what you're doing without resetting, without restructuring the funnel, without realigning what your sales funnel needs to look like and what your marketing needs to speak to, then yeah, you probably will miss, but
Yeah.
I do think there are, incredibly smart people out there that probably refuse to accept at Easter or in May bank holidays. If I'm not there, well, give up the ghost, I'm done. And
I think
if you work in the head office of that business, you're probably not going to accept that either,
Yeah, I think that in many respects, though, Easter and sort of March, April, May, they could usually be rolled up into like 1 month, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Because it's really challenging. I think Easter's always one of the first temperature checks for the
Mhm.
year, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of a lot of parks have been shut. A lot of parks shut, don't they, over the winter period?
Yeah.
And Easter's probably the first period in which parks see high volumes of customers.
But listen to that, though. I mean, when you talk about that, some of these parks have only been open 2 months.
No, I know.
And we're suggesting that that's it,
I know, and
Right?
it's just, I'm with you. I think it's nonsense. I think there's an element of if you have a successful Easter period, and that means that typically lots of customers will visit the park on holiday and they'll enjoy time in the facilities, and it's usually the first point at which if you've got new team members, they're experiencing busy period on park, and it's the first point of the year usually where you see lots of customers on park, and things that have been shut down for a couple of months
Reopen
have to
again,
reopen, and all of that brings teething issues and challenges. And I think depending on when Easter falls makes a huge difference to everyone. I think there can sometimes be a divide between the north and the south.
Yeah.
The weather, I mean, I can think of Easters where there's been snow on the ground, and so the weather always plays a huge part in it as well. And none of that is within anyone's control. So I think as an operator, or as a business that works in the sector, all you can do is plan for a couple of weeks as if it was normal, and it just comes down to planning, strategy, execution,
Yeah.
people, and then I
And I
think
think you're right, though. It is a mixed bag because, whoever we're talking to at the moment, very few are like, knocking the lights out in both holidays and in caravan sales. It tends to be sort of one or the other at the moment. And, but then we are, there's, I think we said it on the last podcast, it definitely does start to, the sentiment is still feeling positive. And, I think the general sentiment is that it is better than last year. Is it leveling out? Is it getting to where to anything like what we'd like to see? Maybe not just yet, but I think we're so used to this industry bouncing back really quickly, and maybe it's just going to take a little bit longer to bounce back.
I think as well the general feedback surrounding holidays has been positive, hasn't it?
It has.
I just love that. It's really, really nice to hear that loads more people are taking holidays in the UK, and there's lots of campaigns and national campaigns going on at the moment, isn't there, to support tourism in the UK, and that's really positive. The more people that holiday in this country, the more people that get to enjoy holidays as well in this country is it's been really good. And there's obviously been some negative coverage for the sector as well, hasn't there? And I think, like we said, we always wanted to be, our intention with this podcast is to be a positive voice for the sector, and that's what we will be. We said it and we mean it. And we absolutely, cannot, and it's not our intention to take anything away from anyone that feels they haven't been treated properly or treated fairly, and it is not our place to talk about specific businesses or individuals, or because
we can speak to our experience.
Well, we
right?
can. I mean, we don't have all the facts, so it's not our place to talk about specific instances or people or businesses. It wouldn't be fair for us to do that without all of the facts. I think, in my view, the most frustrating thing for me personally is a lack of balance. I think if there are instances where there are operators in the sector that aren't operating properly, and that's not opinion based. I mean, there are consumer laws in place, right?
Yeah.
And customers should be treated fairly, and businesses should operate within the law. Do we believe that? Yes. Do we condone people that treat customers badly? No. It goes against the grain of everything that we set out.
We don't work with any of that.
No, and we go out and deliver training that's entirely focused around compliance, transparency, great experience for customers. So I think, whilst we agree that, if there's been instances of customers not being treated properly, fairly, in line with the law, etc., should that be challenged? 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
All day long.
100%.
However, I think what is frustrating for me personally, and I know you share the same view, Matt, is the entire sector gets dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
And there are hundreds or thousands of businesses out there that are doing an incredible job, that have hundreds or thousands of really happy customers. And where do those people, where do those businesses, where do
they go to get a voice?
Where do they have a voice? Where do they say, well, wait a moment,
And that's the balance, isn't it? Because all the light currently seems to be shone on, the people that, have had a bad experience. And I feel for those people and their families. And if they've been, treated unfairly, I completely sympathise with that. And then something should be done. But, as you said, there is so many businesses, and, I've worked for some of them, one of the biggest. And, I just know from my personal experience, I have, never been part of conversations in my whole career. And maybe it's just, I'm just fortunate with the businesses I worked with. I don't know. But, in my career, I have never been party to a conversation or, that has been led to potentially or even fly close to the line of treating customers unfairly. One particular business I've worked for many years, they are they treat these kinds of things so seriously
Yeah.
internally. You know, if there is a complaint, if there is even a hint of mis-selling or anything like that, it's taken extremely seriously. And you know, that might mean that people are reprimanded for it, and there are consequences for it. And you know, but I've just never been or worked for a business, and you know, I speak to the businesses that we work with today.
Yeah.
You know, often when we've been asked to go and do training, it's all been centered around giving their owners and their prospective owners or their guests a great time and
Yeah.
and a great experience. And so I think you're right. It's just that balance that I'd like it to
Because it's
see.
not, you know, it's
not all bad.
bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's just unfair that
Yeah.
it's unfair for all the brilliant businesses that are within our sector.
And there's so many of them.
that
You know,
there are
there's
the
far
majority.
more.
The
There's far more of
majority
them
of
than the ones that aren't.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's just a real shame. And I think it's, you know, it is frustrating. And so, you know, to all those businesses out there that are doing an amazing job, we applaud you and keep doing what you're doing. You know, I think, and you know, for consumers, it is about, you know, do your research, pick an operator that, you know, that you feel aligned with, and you know, read paperwork and read you know, holiday home ownership. In you know, if we're talking about that in this instance, might not be for everyone, but for those customers that make informed decisions about, you know, and it's not just about buying a holiday home. You know, in every walk of life, we make purchases as consumers, don't we? And yes, the value of those, you know, lots of people make high ticket item purchases in their life to improve their lifestyle. And, you know, there are holiday homeowners in this country. We know some of them, Matt, that have owned caravans for 20, 30 years. You know, they've
We
got
don't hear from them
4
though,
or
do we?
5
We
or,
don't hear from
you
them.
know, and these are people that will have had some of the best memories of their life. Children have grown up, you know, there's second generations enjoying the holiday home, and it can be an incredible purchase for people.
It can. And look, you know, I think we could easily go on for days on this, couldn't we? And, you know, but I think the point is the right one, which is there has to be balance. If we're going to, you know, drag a whole industry through the mud, then we should be really clear about and have some balance to the stories. And, you know, and I think, you know, if there was one plea from us, it would be, you know, to have some of that, because you know, our experience working for reputable operators, you know, who take those kinds of accusations and everything else extremely seriously, you know, they're not all the same, and they can't all be tarred with the same brush. And you know,
it's not fair.
it's not.
And equally, you know, if there are any operators out there that are sort of worried about it, because I think, you know, the key things are that, you know, I guess as an operator, all you can do is train your team to the very best of your ability, and you know, and that means having robust processes in place,
But also being able to evidence there are processes in place. I think that's potentially where, you know, some smaller operators potentially maybe feel a little bit exposed, or might feel a little bit exposed, because there's nothing documented from a process perspective. And, you know, we can help with that, can't we? And we've done that for so many businesses to this point. And, you know, so I guess, you know, probably about to steal your point there, but, you know, if there are any operators out there at all worried and you just want to chat, or
and there's lots of support available, isn't there? And and it is, I think it's a case of just reaching out, and you know, it's about having robust processes and, you know, transparent paperwork and a great handover process. You know, and genuinely just making the purchase as special as it should be for the customer. The customer should absolutely, if they're entering into a purchase, should understand the purchase that they're making. And so I think for operators, that, you know, that's all you can do. You know? But it's there's a lot of great operators, and I just think that they deserve a nod.
They do, 100%. They do. There's so many of them.
You'll always get it from us.
So what we got coming up? Talked about Easter. We talked about
May. Well, there's 2 bank holidays in May.
There is.
So there's been a lot going on around that. We've got some exciting projects coming up, and then we're full steam ahead with training.
Yeah. Yeah.
which is really
We've got a
good.
bit of availability for dates though. So if there is any operators out there that, want some given time of year, it's probably new business, new customer training. I call it new customer. Stacey calls it new business. Training that we've still got some availability on dates for that. So if you're listening to this and you'd like any support with training or whatever, then
Ahead of this sort of busy summer period, then yeah, we could help with that. So we're working, and then we're just really busy getting ready for summer. So we've been doing some nice marketing activity ahead of the summer.
quite excited about some of the stuff we got going on for summer. There's some really different campaigns, that the team have put together, and I think I'm really excited to see how some of them perform because they're different.
Yeah,
For the most part, the industry at the moment is, it's in the ownership space at least, free site fees, and there's some real different stuff in there that I'm quite excited to see how that gets on, and and I think because it is different, but it's also extremely relevant. But I think I'm quietly quite excited about some of the campaigns we've got going.
And we've been doing quite a lot of interesting work in the digital space as well, haven't we? Just around, customer journeys and automation, and there's we've been doing some cool stuff, and
including in our own business though. I mean, how many technology platforms have we launched in our own business in the last
but
few
you
weeks?
just had it right.
Yeah, I know.
I
And
think
it's
as
great
well,
for efficiency.
especially as the team grows, because I think it's the challenge, isn't it? Is being effective, and and how do we leverage? Because there's so much technology available, and sometimes it's just about.
I've been quite shocked, particularly in the marketing space. There's technology for everything, isn't there? Very much,
But it's using. I think it's what we we try not to. In our business, or indeed with any of the partners that we work with, I think we're not fans of tech for tech's sake, but it's and I think as well people can get a bit overwhelmed by technology, and I think there can be a general assumption that everything's dead expensive, and it
Or it's
isn't.
hard to use.
And it isn't. And I think we're huge fans of integrations, and when they work. But we're huge fans of integration and automation, and because there is so much cool, really neat technology, isn't there, that can just do a lot of the heavy lifting, and what that does is just create a load of.
What's your favourite bit of technology that we've implemented in the last few weeks?
Gosh, I don't know. We've been doing some really neat stuff in HubSpot, haven't we? And I think that's been really good. I think. I'm excited about it. I always get excited about stuff like that when I'm such a geek. But that's been good. So
I think mine's probably the reporting suite that we got. You plug everything in, and it at a touch of a button, you can see how every campaign, how every channel is faring, and it's just unreal, isn't it? Just we can look really quickly and get a snapshot of, is it working, is it not, and it's just brilliant. I just and very soon we'll be our clients will be able to get access to their own, and we'll be able to serve them up as much data or as little data as they want. It's all got to be relevant to what they want to see, right? But my God, there's more data per client now than I think I ever anticipated there would be.
Well, and it's important.
Yeah, it's great.
Because again, I think there's always. I think there can be data for data's sake, for sure, and and I think that it's important to be able to measure the effectiveness of activity, particularly with marketing. And it's not.
There's so much. It's so much investment involved and trust from the operator, especially when they're deploying us as their agency to, look after their marketing budget, spend it efficiently, put it in the right places at the right time. And, you know, what we're able to see and they're able to see now is a snapshot of, are we doing what we said we would do? And I like that, you know, because, you know, that gives and promotes trust. And, you know, when we want to, and we're always dead honest with them, aren't we? You know, if we're going to test and learn on some stuff, then that's what we do. But, you know, I mean, you know, I just go back to the conversation we had with one of our clients recently. We, you know, got to the point where we said, "Do you know, I think we need to put the brakes on this a little bit because this is getting a little bit out of control." And therefore we then paused it, went back to the website, looked at repositioning things, did a whole new customer journey. And, you know, that's the stuff that, you know, really makes, for me, really makes us different, because, you know, because we understand the customer journey, the natural customer journey that anyone should go through. We're able to make those changes based on experience of operating, as opposed to and maybe a one size fits all is maybe a bit unfair, but, you know, not having that experience of operating and understanding the ownership journey and, you know, what happens from the point in time when somebody arrives on park, etc. So shaping a customer journey around that, and then building that in within HubSpot or Elite or whatever, you know, it's just, I'm getting a bit excited about all that now. I love it. I just love
I
it.
think fundamentally as well, we just want to do a great job.
Yeah.
And, you know, when our partners see results, you know, we're all punching the air, aren't we? Because we genuinely care
get that.
about it, and we want, you know, we want our partners to see results from everything that they're doing, and our team get, you know, just dead excited about, you know, all these small wins. And I think, you know, that's I don't know, that's a life lesson, isn't it? I think it's just be, you know, we have to celebrate. We always had to celebrate.
Well, I think
the small
I
wins, and
realised that.
we do it.
I realised that like the other week when I came in, I was saying, "Oh, by the way, you know, from that pay channel for that operator, we got a couple of deals off that last week. Well done." And like everyone's face just went, "Yes," you know. And I didn't expect that reaction, but it was great. It was great. It was really good.
And we've had an interesting few weeks just getting the team settled, getting our new team members introduced to the business, improving the technology that we're using, and implementing
Almost
a bit
press
of
pause, didn't we, there
process
for a little
and-
while, because, you know, we were and still are, you know, recruiting or onboarding clients, you know. And I think we had to press pause while we got these great new people involved, and, you know, got them inducted and embedded into the business properly, and then in starting to utilize their experience to help us choose what technology was the right technology, and then get that in and working and tested and everything else. And I think, you know, it's only probably now this week that we're like, yeah, we're ready to go again now, you know. We're a bit hungry for it again.
Yeah, no, it's been good.
It's been cracking.
Yeah, and we've, again, I suppose the other thing that we haven't really spoken about is we've been really busy planning podcasts.
Oh yeah.
So
And that.
so that we've got that coming up too, and got a guest coming up. So yeah, if you'd like to get involved, we'd absolutely love to hear from you. Our email address is hey, HEY, @holidayparkpeople.co.uk. And we'll catch you next time.